You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV. You are watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents Life's Amazing Journey. I'm your host, executive producer, director, and broadcast engineer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. And with me, as always, is the star of our show, John Christian. Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. From lovely sunny England today. It's really hot.
Well, you look very happy as always, John. It's always good to see you and, of course, meet your wonderful friends and hear your beautiful voice. And I just want our audience to know that obviously you are legends in the entertainment industry, and you are a phenomenal coach and leader and somebody who's just so inspirational and really cares about helping other people.
Thank you. Do my best, as we're all doing here.
Yes, for sure. So when we last saw you, you had just returned to England. How are things going now?
Very good. I'm settling back in, from Portugal, for those of you that don't know that. So I went to Portugal for 10 days with a backpack and ended up there for 10 months because of the COVID situation. So now I'm back in the UK and planning to return to Portugal for the winter, probably our winter time anyway, and to keep my suntan up.
That's phenomenal, John. So I just would like you to share with our audience, in addition to the weather, obviously, and the view that you had, what are some of the biggest changes you've seen since you left Portugal and returned to the UK?
I think there's a lot of fear here in England, because of the COVID levels. So there's lots of questions about what's really going on. I think that's worldwide, actually. And people are wondering, what's the ins and outs of all of this, and why are we being told that freedom's coming, then freedom isn't coming. And we have another situation like that coming up. Supposedly on the 19th, we're supposed to be free, but now they're already saying that there's going to be very limited circumstances. So we have to wait and see what they say next.
I guess that would be really confusing because you can't really make any plans that if you wanted to travel, can you?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, most people, I think, I've had friends say to me, I've just given up on traveling this year. I think it's over because there's so many stipulations. And plus it's very expensive, because you have to have 3 tests, or actually 4 sometimes, depending on where you're going. If you go into an amber zone, which is where I was, it's the test in Portugal, and then you have to have a 10-day in isolation here and 2 tests here. So it's all of that. And the ordinary person, ordinary family people, they just can't afford it,
How much do the tests cost?
Well, there's different prices, like everything everywhere. So I managed to get mine for £80 for the 2 in England and €20 in Portugal. But some of them are much more expensive for the same tests. So you have to shop around.
Interesting. Shop
around. For anybody that is having to travel, EasyJet give a code, whether you're flying with them or not. They were giving a code where you can get their tests for that £80 reason, as opposed to over £100 for the same tests.
Good direction, good coaching. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
What are you hearing from people in terms of how they feel emotionally? I know you mentioned there's fear and trepidation, but are people losing hope, or how are they feeling?
Yeah, I think it's a mixed bag. People are feeling very frustrated. we actually had a march here a couple of weeks ago. There was over 2 million people that marched against it now, and that's happening around the world too. So I think that's a really good marker of the rising frustration that people have, because they just don't know where they stand from one moment to the next, and they can't get on with their lives. I have many friends that are stars in the West End. Fortunately, some of them are back and rehearsing again, but the performances are limited to audience that can come, and other friends that do all kinds of different jobs, and some are struggling and some are managing, just depending on what their trade is. Like a mechanic friend, I mean, he's working all the time.
But creatives have really been hit hard, isn't that true?
Oh, absolutely so. It's heartbreaking, really, especially for me as an entertainer. When we're able to go out, and particularly to sing for the elderly, and to bring memories back to them for a song and for comedy and stuff like that, and watch them come alive and sparkle, just in a few songs and a few jokes. So it's heartbreaking to not be able to do that when you've had a life of learning how powerful song and comedy and laughter really is on the human spirit and on the immune system.
Yes, and as I've learned from interviewing many creatives, that's also a good outlet for them, right? Yeah. So it's a good outlet for people to express their emotions to the audience and get out the feelings that they have too.
Oh, absolutely so. That for me, that's my quickest and greatest outlet, is to sing or to act, and take roles where I'm playing emotions that normally I wouldn't venture towards on my so-called daily life. Frustration, and I get to play them out as an actor where nobody gets harmed, and that's great.
It is great. Well, we would love for you to express your emotions and your feelings today through song. Are you ready to share your number with us?
Yeah, I'd love to, actually. Let me just take a drink here. It's so hot today. It's unusual in England.
Absolutely.
And
all right.
This is a song that actually our guest Sarah Grant told me that she really likes. So it's If, and it was made famous by an American singer. His name's just gone out of my head for a second anyway. But so it's called If Tomorrow Never Comes. That's the full title of it. And for those of you that are professional musicians, I'm not in the studio, so please, consider the situation of singing through a laptop for me. Well, sometimes late at night, I lie awake and watch her sleeping. She's lost in peaceful dreams, so I turn out the light and lay there in the dark. Then a thought crosses my mind. If I never waken in the morning, would she ever doubt the way I feel about her in my heart? If tomorrow never comes, would she know how much I loved her? Did I try in every way to show her every day that she's my only one? And if my time on earth was through, could she live this life without me? Is the love I gave her in the past gonna be enough to last if tomorrow never comes? 'Cause I've lost loved ones in my life who never knew how much they meant to me. Now I live with the regret that my true feelings for them never were revealed. So I made a promise to myself to say each day how much she means to me, to avoid the circumstance where there's no second chance to tell her how I feel. If tomorrow never comes, would she know how much I love her? Did I try in every way to show her every day that she's my only one? And if my time on earth was real, could she live this life without me? Is the love I gave her in the past gonna be enough to last if tomorrow never comes? So tell that someone that you love just what you're thinking of if tomorrow never comes. Thank you, studio.
So beautiful. I love it with the microphone too, because it's almost, you can see you on the stage. So that was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was Garth Brooks, right? Garth, yeah?
Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah.
So how did you feel singing it, especially knowing that Sarah had requested it?
Yeah, Sarah's become a dear friend, so it's lovely to have a request from a friend and to be able to sing a song that they enjoy and they like. So, and I really like that song too as well. It was one of my mother's
That is beautiful. It's a beautiful song. When did he first perform it? Do you know?
I don't remember. I think it was, I might be completely wrong here, 79 or somewhere like that, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was the late 70s, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, late 70s. It was late, yeah.
It's beautiful.
He made it famous. Yeah.
Thank you so much for singing that. So we're going to take a break, but before we do, would you tell us a little bit about Sarah?
Yes. Well, Sarah and I met actually at a business group down in Kent where she lives. It was a beautiful area. And Sarah is an image consultant and an NLP practitioner, or as she likes to put it, the onion chef. And for those listeners and viewers that don't know what NLP is, it's neuro-linguistic program. And I'm sure Sarah is going to tell us a lot about it. So she's been in the business for 13 years, and she'll be telling us how she came to live her passion after a very negative experience and how she rebuilt herself from that. So that's going to be really interesting. She now empowers women to step up and shine and to find their inner confidence. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what she's got to say. So Sarah, also now for people that want to come to England, and Kent is beautiful. Yeah, well, there's so many lovely places in England, but come and visit and come and do one of Sarah's luxury styling retreats down in Kent in Sevenoaks in England. We'd love to meet you.
That sounds like exactly what we all need, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's bring her on and then we'll take the commercial break. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. Thank you so much for having me. And John, what a lovely introduction.
Sarah, were you swooning a little when you heard him singing?
I was. I just love that song. I love romantic songs. I'm not one for rock and roll. I love the more ballads. And I've actually got John's CD in my car. So when I need, when you want that calming down, I put the CD on and he's singing away. And the lyrics are lovely.
Absolutely
really
beautiful.
good.
Thanks for the plug on the CD.
Yes.
If anybody wants to buy a copy, you can go to my website and find tracks there on lifebalanceportal.com.
Yeah, no, they are lovely, especially when you listen, because lots of songs you listen to and you can't always hear the words. So it's a bit like Karen Carpenter. You could always hear her words. You could take them in and feel them. So yeah, love it. So thank you for singing that, John.
You're very welcome. Thank you for asking.
That's all right.
Thank you for making the request. Beautiful number. So I'm glad that you're here, Sarah. We are going to take a quick break, and then we're going to focus all of our attention on you. How does that sound?
Fine. My main concern, as I said, is my laptop wouldn't work. So I'm on my phone. I've put things on, notifications off. So I'm praying that nothing happens. Stay here.
No worries. Listen, things happen all the time with technology. We just roll with it, right? It's out of our control. So it's all right. Let's take a break and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our Ministry Alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAP partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAP partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs, to minivans, to limo buses, to full-size tour buses, and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hello and welcome back to USA Global TV, where you're watching life's amazing journey with this fabulous guy over here, the star of our show, John Christian, and our guest, Sarah Grant. In our first segment, John serenaded us, which we always love, and we did a little talking about his travel between Portugal and the UK, what's going on over there, and then we welcome Sarah Grant, who's going to help us reset our mindset, our style, our image, and talk to us about these incredible retreats that she offers. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you, Jacalyn and John. So yes, I mean, my journey, it's about my journey, how I got to where I'm being a stylist, which was about, I think it's 15 years ago now. So my husband left. Not only did he leave, he went with a good friend of mine. And so that left me in a pretty dark place for quite a few years. And I remember one particular day, a friend of mine, she said, Sarah, come on, we've got to get out of this dark hole. And she said, let's go and do Match.com. So we did Match.com. It was a bit of fun, but it was something that sort of got me out of that dark hole because, you know, those 2 years were really not knowing where you're going to live. It was about the children and their emotions and what was happening with them. There was just so much going on. My mother was taken ill. She'd never been ill in her life. She got a leaky heart valve. So there was so much going on. But I remember this day in particular, coming home from my friend, and I stood in my kitchen. It was a really sunny day. And I just thought, I've got to do something. And John, you'll remember this, John and Jacalyn, that the series that was called The Prisoner, and it was with Patrick McGowan, I think, and it's made in North Wales in Port Marion, and Port Marion is an Italian village. A man went to Italy, fell in love with it, and did a replica here, and it was called The Prisoner, and Patrick McGowan was trying to run away from the this prison that he was in, and this big ball would come out of the ocean and engulf him. And that's the vision I had. So I thought, right, I'm going to grab this ball and I'm going to put it to one side, and everything that was going in my head at the moment, I just put in that ball because there was so many things going on. You know, my eldest daughter didn't talk to her dad for a couple of years. It was just like a big cauldron that was spinning round, and I had to stop that. So went in that ball. And then what I used to do is every time I had to deal with something, just bring one thing out at a time and deal with it. Don't get me wrong, things were always popping back out the ball and I used to have to push them back down again. But it was just a way of my coping strategy. And then what happened was that this same friend, she said, I've got a friend that's opening a clothing shop, Danish clothing shop. Why don't you apply? Because my background has always been fashion or hairdressing, designing clothes. So I applied for the job and got it a couple of days a week. And it was there. I mean, I just love people. I'm a bit like John. To me, people give me my energy. Obviously, I need time on my own as well. And it was there that I loved people. And I knew when something worked, but I didn't know the reasons why. And then somebody said, why don't you become a personal shopper? And I thought, sounds very nice, but isn't that so shallow? And to me, I didn't want to do that. But as time went on, I just kept thinking, I've got to do this. So I did lots of research, found a wonderful company up in Warwick, and did my training there, and met a really good friend of mine who actually went to Canada with me when I had my 60th about 3 years ago. And it was there I had another friend, Rebecca, and she mentioned about NLP, and I said, what on earth is NLP? And it's neuro-linguistic programming. So it's how we process our thoughts. So again, I explored that, and I thought, I've got to do this. So I did it for me. I did my diploma, and then I did my practitioner's course. I didn't do my master's because I knew I didn't want to do it as such. But I knew that if it worked for me so well, it could work within my business. So it's about clearing our mindset, those limiting beliefs. So to me, that was a massive, massive change, and helped me immensely. And also finding Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism, that was another thing. So it's like, I always say to people, it's like having a big puzzle. We're in the middle, and what makes us whole are all the things that come into our lives that pieces together. So that's sort of how I got into the image consultancy. And I mean, I know now it's not shallow, because it's not always about the clothes. It's always underlying issues. It's like, for once, I had a lady that wouldn't wear trousers, and it was her 50th wedding anniversary. And when I said, would you try trousers? She went, absolutely not. And I thought, wonder what's happened there. And when I asked her, she said, my father told me I had a big bottom when I was a little girl. You know, even when I tell that story now, I can still well up a bit, because I think that was just so sad that she'd lived all her life never wearing trousers, because that one thing her father said. So I said about the coaching, and I just did a thing called timeline on her. We weren't in the appropriate place to do it, and she had a few tears, but for me, they were really, really good tears. And I spoke to her about 4 weeks later, and she said, I absolutely love everything I bought. And I said, that's how you should wear it. But my main question to her was, do you wear trousers? And she said, all the time. So you can see how that there's that part of it is, that part of me is important, more important than the actual clothes. That's why I always say, when you get an onion and you cut it open, often we end up tears, onions. And then we put the onion back to get rid of the tears. If they're there, they're not always there. And then we put the onion back together. And I always say that crunchy bit is the clothing. So that's sort of how I work. I always work from the inside out, because everything in life is about how we feel. And John knows this, don't you, John?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as a coach now, I'm well aware of how many people are having challenges in their relationships, and how COVID's brought that up, because people have been stuck together more than normal. So I think viewers would probably like to hear from you, going through that tough time. As we all know, the tough times can make us stronger and teach us a lot. So what would you say, what are the strongest things that you learned from that would be helpful to our viewers, or any ladies going through this position at the moment?
I think I like it when the three of us are on the screen, because I feel like I'm talking to something instead of just me. So I know when my ex-husband left, he said, Sarah, you're really lovely, you're kind, you're caring, lovely to live with, but you don't need me, and I need somebody that needs me. So that's always stayed with me so strong, because I always say to people, if you need something and want something, if you want something, it's a much more positive stance, whereas if you need something, it doesn't have the right connotations. I know the two can correlate together, they're not completely separate. So I think it was finding my inner peace and believing in me, because I used to think I wasn't very good. I'm like John, I'm dyslexic. I never thought I was very good at school. About intelligence. Well, to me, I don't care about academic intelligence. I would much rather have emotional intelligence, common sense that gets us far more out there. But I think it was the NLP and the Buddhism and the wanting to change. I didn't want to be the victim. And I'm not somebody that wants to sink, but I kept sinking, I kept swimming. So I think you've just got to keep persevering and surround yourself with people that want to lift you up, because there's lots of people out there that want to pull you down.
Sarah, I have a question for you, because and thank you for being so transparent and sharing your story. I've heard this from other people where they've been in a relationship and the one partner says, you don't need me. And so my question for you is, how did you deal with that? In other words, did you need him, or did you, how did that work? Because you had to rectify that, I would think, as you're processing.
Okay. I didn't need him to make me happy, because I am a happy person. I try and find that, that inner happiness. It's difficult to explain what I didn't need without not being I didn't need him speaking to me badly, and I didn't need the control, financial, and I can't go into that because it wouldn't be fair. So I didn't need that side. So, he said, I don't mind you doing things, but I need you to come back emotionally. But I couldn't do that emotionally because I resented him so much. And even the children say, Mum, you are better off without Dad. They love their dad, and he was a really good dad. But he's not speaking to you badly anymore. So I haven't got that. I've got rid of that. And I always say, never speak to anybody badly. What is the point? There is no point in it whatsoever. Because if someone speaks to you badly, just start speaking to them nicely, change it around, and they can't react. Because if I act aggressively, they're going to come back aggressively. But if you're nice to them, hopefully that will implode onto them a little bit and help them. That's, so I think with all women, you've got to find your own internal happiness. Stop relying on other people.
Yes. And I love the idea of how you took what you were going through and you put it in this ball. I did watch that show, by the way. And then you would take out one thing at a time, which I think that makes a lot of sense. And we don't really do that. It just seems it all comes together and we're like, what are we going to do?
I know, if you chunk it all down, but don't get me wrong. We're always constantly, aren't we? We're always like the book, the chimp and the paradox and the chimp that sits. There's always things going on in our head. We have to sort of get rid of them, give that talk to ourselves. So, and we have those bad days, and we just have to go with them sometimes, because, like with the Buddhism, you've got the different states of hell and nirmati, and it goes through the levels, and trying to keep your vibration up high. I mean, with John, with the meditation that we do a couple of times a week, it's wonderful. And when I've chanted the group, and obviously we haven't done it, you come out of there and you just feel like you've been lifted on a cloud.
Yeah.
So I think for women, just don't rely on somebody for your happiness. Find your in.
It's true for all of us, I think. We've lost your sound. We've lost your sound. There you go. You're back.
Sorry, I did put my phone notifications off, and someone's ringing me. Sorry about that.
Don't they know you're on TV right now? Come on. No, John, you bring up a good point. It applies to everyone, right? And men as well.
Yeah, I mean, from my own personal experience, of course, that's always the best example. But the thousands of hours that I've spent coaching, and particularly in relationship situations, helping people to learn a new communication where trust is the priority, and development of trust in a communication when we're having difficult moments with each other, is to communicate, I really care about you. I really want to understand. I would really like you to care about me and understand. And these issues get in the way of that. But if we trust each other, that our whole focus is to understand and care about each other, that becomes a real strength. It's a good platform for building good communication from there on out. But we don't have enough forums available at present. I mean, there's more coming forward now, where we can all get together and have these common sense, down to earth, practical conversations, and talk about the issues that we face every day. How do I deal with my emotions and my thinking, and recognize, oh my God, when you say that, it makes me feel insecure. So is it my belief systems about me that makes me feel insecure and makes me feel vulnerable? So is that my challenge, or is it your challenge? How do we talk about this and get somewhere with it, you know?
By the way, how do we get involved in this meditation / chant session that you guys are doing during the week?
Yeah. People can drop me a line on john@lifebalanceportal.com, and you can join us on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to be dropping you a line because you didn't tell me about this.
Oh, sorry, I thought I had. My apologies. Yeah.
Sounds phenomenal.
We normally do it on a Sunday and a Wednesday.
What time do you do it?
7 o'clock UK time.
PM or AM?
PM.
PM. Okay, good. That'll work.
We've lost your voice, Sarah. We can't hear you.
We see you, but we can't hear you. And I'd love to find out about her retreats, but we're going to take a commercial break. And we're going to listen to some music, which I love. And we have played this before, but really good. The artist is ILO, ILO. And her record label is Licorice Dragon Records. And you can find her song and her music, which is on iTunes. So let's take a listen to ILO. We'll be right back. Heroes in Disguise.
Picture this, a life where you can leave your pain, a life where you can start again somehow. Picture this, a vision that can change a prayer, happy heart that's always there in the now. So don't be afraid of fear. You know, as long as we're still here, we can be anything larger than life. Rise up from the ground. We can fall down over 10,000 times, then turn it all right back around. We never imagined how good life can be, but inside you and me, we can see past these ghosts in the mirror. We're heroes in disguise. Heroes in disguise. Picture this, losing everything you got, never having had a lot, but holding on and on and on. Don't be afraid to dream, 'cause we are so much closer than it seems. We can be heroes in disguise, heroes in disguise, heroes in disguise.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hello and welcome back to Life's Amazing Journey here on USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. I am joined by the star of our show, John Christian, and our guest, Sarah Grant. Sarah walked us through a little bit of her journey, what she's been through, how she overcame major adversity coming from all angles, and what beautiful things she's doing in the world today. So welcome back.
Oh, no.
Oh no, we still can't hear you. So strange. Well, she's working on that. John, have you been to a style retreat per se?
Well, actually, I went. Sarah very kindly invited me around to visit while I was down in her area teaching one day, and my styling was getting hold of the bottom of my trousers because I was wearing turn-ups and having them turned down and in no uncertain terms, that doesn't look good.
So you had cuffs, is that right? We call them cuffs where they're.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because at the time here, it was fashion in certain areas. It's fashion. Sarah, let me just try turning your phone off and turning it back on again. Maybe that will work. And relink with us.
Yes, come back in again. That'd be great.
It's good. She can't tell me off now because I just said about turning.
So, John, when you think about your own personal style, how would you describe it?
Well, it changes so much because of being in the filming and acting side of life. So, I have a wardrobe full of a whole range of selections because I'm often called to wear different things, which is very interesting because sometimes I have to wear things that I would never think of wearing. And I think, actually, that looks really good. And people say, oh, you look great in that. I think, well, I never would have thought of that, So
can you give us an example? Is it like a yellow jumpsuit that's velvet? No, give us
a one-piece swimming costume, like Boris, no, Barack. I think one of the you know what I mean. So I think generally. When I'm doing my corporate training and stuff like that, I tend to be formal, it's the suit and the tie and stuff like that. And then casually, most of the time I'm in my t-shirt and my comfortable tracksuit working out gear, which I do a lot of training to take care of myself. And between that, the smart casual, that's the most popular. A range of smart
Smart casual. I see Sarah's joined us. Let's bring her back on.
Yeah.
Hi, Sarah. Yes.
I don't know because my mic was working.
Yeah, it's technology. It's a technology gremlin. Don't worry about it. But I was just asking John about his personal style. And I wanted to share with you that I've worked with personal stylists and shoppers over the years. And it's actually a really wonderful thing because we do have insecurities about ourselves and we do tend to wear the same things, and somebody sees something in you that, hey, this would really look nice on you. You think, oh, absolutely not. And then you change your perspective.
It does. But yeah, your trousers, John. Your turn ups. See, if you turn them the other way, it makes your legs look longer. But yeah, it will always about how you feel in something. You know, I might say to a client, you know, this suits you really well. You know, maybe not wear black. Excuse me. But if they love black and they want to wear black and it makes them feel good, then I'll just show them ways of, you know, adding more makeup, jewelry. So it depends, you know, you've got to go by what that person feels, because it will, you know, you can't put them in something and they feel uncomfortable, even if it looks great. You think it looks great. They've got to feel it first, and then the look follows.
Yeah, I want to make a personal share because it really hit home when you were talking about the trousers. So when I was in the corporate world, I wore suits all the time, pinstripe suits, you know, for that role. And I also wore dresses. But as time has gone on, because I have an illness, I have something called ulcerative colitis. I don't like the pants leaning up against my stomach. If that makes sense. Yeah. So I'm only wearing dresses now for the last over a year. Isn't that funny?
Ah, it's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah,
because you've got the dresses. You haven't got anything around your waist, so they're the easiest thing to wear, but the hardest thing to buy. Because the tops are never the same as the bottoms. You know, you could be big busted, small bust, so it would just depend. But it was interesting because I mainly work, I've got this tickle, with women, but I did have a professor at Oxford University, and that was really interesting. I had a whole day with him. Really, really interesting. He was a natural, so naturals just don't like clothes. They don't like shopping. And by talking to him on the phone, I knew he was a natural. And then obviously I went to his house and met his wife and children and went through his wardrobe. So I got to know him, because I would never take someone shopping unless I knew them really well or knew their lifestyle. So much I need to know. So it was interesting taking a few men I've worked with. So John, I'll take you shopping next time you're up.
Okay, you got a deal there.
I take my son. My son is 6'7" with size 14 feet.
Ooh. I just wanted to ask you, because I think our male listeners might like this. What is it that a woman likes in a man's outfits? What attracts a woman to what kind of dress?
Well, it's going to be smart casual. I do like a suit, I must admit, but smart casual. And shoes. I do like a nice pair of shoes on a man. I remember turning up to a date once, and Doug was really lovely, but he had a pair of shoes from Cotton Traders. And I just think you're going on a first date, you need to look a certain way. And it's funny because somebody's approached me on LinkedIn, a guy I know who does psychology, and he's looking at working about people going back into dating. That's why he contacted me. I think I told you, John, it was he came at 10:30 and then left at 4:30 in the afternoon. It's interesting because I just think everybody knows what I know, but they don't. Yeah, no. So it's a tip for people that are watching, that if you have got short legs, whether you'll be male or female, is if you've got the pockets on your jeans are low, then your eye is drawn lower down the leg. Whereas if they're higher, it makes the legs look longer. And then if your trousers are too long, then they'll ruckle at the bottom and your eye will cut off where it starts to ruckle. So you need to have them the right length, or you wear shoes the same color as your trousers or darker, because then if you had a pair of jeans with light trainers, your leg will finish where the end of the trousers. So if you've got darker shoes, the eye follows through. That's just a bit of information for someone.
I think that's terrific. Thank you for sharing that. One thing I want to add, I love shoes in a suit also. How do you feel about this, Sarah and John? And John, you may do this, and I live on an island, so there are a lot of guys who wear flip-flops and, flip-flop shoes, and they don't take care of their feet. So it's Not nice. I don't want to see that. Put it away.
Nor do I. I don't like to see that. In Portugal, everybody was in flip-flops, and some of the feet, it was like, oh my God.
Disgusting.
Like, please do something with your feet.
Or you're in a yoga class and the person next to you, they have like, it's just not good. Please take care of your feet. They are part of your body.
I agree. And it's funny because I actually like doing people's feet. I know it's a weird thing. I think because I like them to look nice, and I love having my feet done. Anything that's massage, I'm in seventh heaven. So I know where you're coming from.
Well, I'm glad we cleared the air on that. So the next time we all get together, our feet are going to look perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to inspect your feet, John.
We have a commercial on at the moment about fungal nails, It's like every time I say, oh my God. I'm glad I wasn't chosen for the role of that one.
Sarah, what are some other style tips that you can give, like for women even?
Oh, there's so many. I mean, if you've got a larger bust, I always wear a lower neck because I've got boobs. So obviously if you wear a lower neck, your boobs look smaller. As if I put this up here and I'd look all boob and I'd look awful. So
that's how I look today. I look all boob. Yeah, I think.
So if you took your neckline slightly lower, we'd see more flesh and we wouldn't see so much of the boob area. Sorry about this, John.
John, would you like to join in on that?
But it's the same like if you wear a belt. If you've got a short waist, you don't want a thick, wide belt because it'll end up under your bust and you'll have no waist. So it's all about balancing your body. Yeah. It's how we feel, balancing the body, finding someone's wardrobe personality. It's just a whole cauldron of things that go round, and it's deciphering what is best for you. And that's what I do on the retreats. Because you said about the styling retreats, it's funny because John knows Ali Harold, a friend of mine, we were doing videoing at my house. And she said to me, Sarah, you need to go on the Great British Bake Off. I said, really? Because I love baking and cooking. So I thought, oh, well, I'll just apply anyway. I knew I wasn't going to get anyway. And I could always remember them saying, why did you apply? I said, well, my friend told me I should, so I did. But what it gave me is my light bulb moment. And I thought, well, why don't I just put all my passions together? And do the styling retreat. So it's either for one or two ladies. So they have their own room. They've got a double bed. I did them all out. They're lovely. They're really nice. They're all on the website, actually. And so they come for the weekend, or it can be in the week. It's overnight. So the day is structured, very structured when they get here. So the day is styling, colour, they bring clothes they love, clothes that they don't love. We look at the reasons behind them. I mean, it goes on forever. I love it. All the food is home cooked. I even make the bread. And then in the evening, I let it go where it wants to go. So the last lady came a few weeks ago. She came on her own. And I took her on 2 long walks. That we did 10 miles in total. And it was lovely outside. So every meal was outside. And the conversation just goes. I let them lead me. So in the day, it's all about me telling them, and then just see what happens in the evening. They can go off for a walk on their own. They can go and have a lovely bath with all the natural products. I don't guide that. And then the next day, they breakfast. Breakfast is always fruits and berries and yogurts and freshly squeezed oranges, not out of a bottle. Someone said, I love that you get the oranges and you squeeze them, because my mum used to do that. And then I teach them how to blow dry their hair, because that was my background from many years ago, because nobody teaches you. So I want them to go away empowered. And then I do the makeup tutorial. And this lady, I did throw in personal shopping as well. But it's funny, Jacalyn, do you know Look Good Feel Better charity in America?
No, I do not.
Because that's where it started off, because what was I telling you? So the makeup side, I do the work with the charity, Look Good, Feel Better. So it's a worldwide charity. It's a cancer charity. So when I do we haven't been able to do them. I have done a few on Zoom, but usually they turn up on the retreats. I sort of turn up with no makeup on, and they turn up with, obviously they don't have makeup, and then have to shoot the tutorial that way. And that's what we do with Look Good, Feel Better as well. So yeah, you need to spread the word around Look Good, Feel Better. It's brilliant. It's in about 140 countries now, I think.
Fantastic. I certainly will do that.
Yeah, so yes, that's sort of what the retreat is. And the lady that came last time, she said, I've come for more than colour and style. She said, so it's more about making an experience really and connecting with people. So
sounds like
I love them. It takes a lot of energy, but I'm in my seventh heaven when I'm doing them. Or hosting them, should I say, not doing them, hosting them.
And how do people sign up for this?
But if they go onto the website, they contact me. I mean, this lady, all through lockdown, I've been doing lives on Instagram and Facebook, come window shopping in my wardrobe. So I was just giving lots of advice on how to wear patterned trousers and what you need to look for. We did one on shoes. I showed them how to wear jackets and all different pieces, how putting outfits together. And a lady had been watching me on Instagram and she messaged me. So, you know, social media is hard through lockdown because you really have to keep going at it. But it was nice that, you know, this lady, and she was, I think she was either late 50s or no, she was older than me. She was about 65, but she was such good fun. She had lots of vibrancy about her. So, you know, she'd been watching. So it did work well.
I love that you shared about social media. We had an interview on Fashion, Fitness, Travel, and Leisure last Friday, and we had on a woman who actually got a contract with Bloomingdale's to do the interior of their store with the holidays, every time there's a holiday that comes. And they found her on social media. They found her on her Facebook page. I mean, that's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It is good. I mean, it's just hard work, sort of plugging away at it all the time.
I know all about that.
Yeah, I'll have to share your bits and pieces on LinkedIn and Facebook. And it's actually because I'm interviewing. I like interviewing people. I've interviewed lots of people on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm doing somebody, actually, it's an American lady, Erica. I've left her book upstairs, and she's a sex coach. Well, therapist, not quite how it sounds, but really interesting. That's another interesting one.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I'd love to get her on one of our shows.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'll message her. Something about feeling sexy, and it's about her little book is about her story. So we'd met on Clubhouse and then contacted me. And she doesn't do lives. I said, well, let's do an interview, because it's much easier when someone's interviewing you because you don't feel so conscious, do you? Maybe.
Very true. We could have her on the show with John, and we could have her do like a live therapy session with John on air. No.
You rascal. You rascal. I'm up for it. I'll do it. I would do it.
Well, life's for living. You've got to take your chances. If you don't,
absolutely, you know, and we need to feel free and liberated, talking about all of our passions.
Yes, absolutely. Especially after being locked up for all this time.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lovely Zen saying, and I've got it on my fridge. He knows not where he's going, for the ocean will decide. It's not the destination, it's the glory of the ride. Because you never get to that destination. It's constantly riding those waves. And, you know, people that don't explore life, I find it really, I understand, but I find it hard, because I think, how can you not want to go and explore, do something, or find something out?
When people say to me, I'm getting there, and I say, well, when you do get there, will you give me the address? Because nobody's in there.
But there isn't a getting there, is there?
No.
There is.
I found myself a lot during pandemic. I stopped thinking about, oh, well, what about next week? And what about 3 months from now? It's like, no, think about right now. That's it. Yeah, exactly. So speaking of today, we are actually over an hour on our show. So we are going to have to wrap up. The time went by so fast. Sarah, we've been running your banner, but for people who can't see it, what's the best way to get in touch with you and who should contact you?
Through my website, or email me at sarah@sarahjanegrant.co.uk. But through my website, you can get me. All this social media is Instagram. I think I've put that link is I am Sarah Grant.
Oh, you have, yeah.
I have, haven't I? So yes, that's the best way. And I'll I always offer people Zooms. I love having a Zoom with somebody. I'd rather do that than speak to them, because then you pick up the essence of who they are.
And who should reach out to you?
Anybody that is stuck, not just with their style, but just needs, I always say the best tool you can ever have, I know I've been talking, but is to listen. And sometimes people, you need you to listen and just be there. So anyone that's stuck and they want styling advice and want to look at, it's just not their style, it's their hair, their makeup, but their internal dialogue. That to me is the most important thing. And but I can't fix it. They've got to fix it themselves. But sometimes just talking, a friend of mine said, what you said to me the other night was so helpful. I said, well, what was that? She said that you understood. Such a simple word, but it has such a strong meaning, to somebody. So, yeah. Oh, I could talk about this subject for hours and hours.
Come back again. Come back on again.
Yes.
I would love to come back on, because I didn't talk about my emotional knee, which I'll do another time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, we'd love to have you back on, and thank you for sharing. It's so transparent. I love it.
Thanks, Sarah.
And please do connect me with your friend Erica. That would be great.
I will. You'll like that. Her story.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
we'll set up
for it. Forget.
You're up for it, John, are you?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have the four of us. That would be great.
Yeah. All right then. Thank you so much, Dr. Jacalyn. It's been wonderful. Sorry about
Thank you. Nice.
Take
yeah,
care.
No worries about it. We'll see you again. Thank you. Bye. 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 She was lovely, John. Thank you so much for that introduction.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just, I'm so blessed with the friends I've got around the world. Yeah.
Well, that's because you're such a wonderful person.
Thank you.
So do tell us again how we can get involved with the meditation that you're doing.
Please drop me an email and I can send a Zoom link. So it's john@lifebalanceportal.com. My website is www.lifebalanceportal.com. I also run an online coaching course if people are interested, and we look at every aspect of your character and the development of character. So it's a combination of my life soul searching from spiritual masters around the world, understanding our spiritual nature and inner work, and also my life in show business, in presentation skills and self-esteem, and much more.
Wonderful. Thank you again for being here and just for being a great person. And I'll talk to you about the meditation also.
Great. Wonderful.
All right, my friend, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll talk to you hopefully over the weekend.
Thank you. I'm off out into the English sunshine.
All right, go enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
You too. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully you really enjoyed that show as much as I did. We've got a number of shows coming up today. Coming up right after this is A Better You, lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. And we have Daphne DeLucci and Hyatt Ives, our expert presenters. Then at noon, we have fashion, fitness, travel, and leisure with my co-host Diane Floyd-Babe and our guest Lynette Medina. At 1:30, we have I Have a Story to Tell, but it's not my story. It's Daniel Wood's story. At 3 p.m., we have another A Better You, lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. And our presenters today are Diane Floyd-Beam and Teuta. At 3:30, we have Pet Psychic Amina, and our guest is Krista Karpowicz. And then at 5 p.m., we have stories of hope, inspiration, and overcoming adversity. And my guest is Debbie McHugh. So thank you again for being here. We are USA Global TV. We would love if you were to go and join our YouTube channel by subscribing, USA Global TV. Thanks again. We'll see you very shortly. We're coming back in less than 30 minutes.